What's up, everybody? It's Chris back again from Top Notch Sports. This is basically the part 2 video of my draft reactions, thoughts on the draft, and opinions on each pick infiltrated by each team. Mainly the more important picks, not literally every single pick. I'd say probably most of the picks I covered. This is the same layout as the Eastern Conference video, just the Western Conference teams and individual players, of course. So we'll start with the Denver Nuggets, whom I don't think did a great job. I don't think they really immediately ameliorated their team, per se. I don't really think they did that. I think they're going to have to do a better job in the offseason through trades like they just did with Afflalo, which I did think was a good move. He's a good ball player, 3-and-D player, who can create his own shot as well. So he will, at the 2 guard, make their team better. But they'll have to do more of that with free agency and trades to make their team better, because they got Jusuf Nurkic, who I think is just a stash player, and Gary Harris, who will, as a backup to Afflalo, be pretty good and probably bring similar to what Afflalo brings to the Nuggets, basically in his play style. So, I mean, he'll help them as another bench player. I guess that's good, but I actually thought that, Harris will help them, but I actually thought that McDermott could have been a good pick for them. I think they have Chandler, who's good. They have Gallinari, who's good. But as another guy in Gallinari, the injury problems the last couple of years, I thought that McDermott, as a wing, small forward scorer, actually could have really helped that team as another guy in the perimeter who could help out Ty Lawson, who's a very underrated point guard. So I thought they probably actually could have benefited by keeping McDermott, but we'll have to see. Rockets was just a Euro stash. Smart move about that was that realistically, they could very well end up getting a superstar such as Carmelo Anthony or LeBron James at that small forward position. So, if they're going to save money, hey, it's a business, right? If they're going to use that money to save for LeBron and Carmelo, that's smart, because realistically they could get them. They have a top shooting guard, a top NBA center. So they have those two pieces. They're both stars and/or superstars in the league. That's a pretty good place, pretty good destination. So they have a good shot, a better shot than maybe the casual fan realizes at landing LeBron James or Carmelo Anthony. So I guess for money's sakes, hey, it's about money, right? So I think that probably was a decent decision. Clippers, C.J. Wilcox, who is a guard. I thought that was a bad move, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought that was a stupid move because what they need in L.A. is bench big men. They already have the wing players off the bench, like Dudley, like Redick, Matt Barnes, Crawford, who could score off the bench and do a little defense off the bench. They have the wing bench players that they just don't have. They need the wing big men. They have Blake and DeAndre, and they have Davis now who help them, but they need a bench big. I thought that was a foolish move. They basically added something that they already have, so I thought that was silly. Los Angeles Lakers, Julius Randle. Yes, great move. I mean, the kid's a competitor. I think that's something. Kobe Bryant does unfortunately have a history of not getting along the best with his teammates. But Julius Randle, I think he will like him. Julius Randle's a fighter, and he has the skills to go along with that competitive fire and that fighter's mentality. I think that's a great draft. I think he's going to make an immediate impact. Of course, the health is something that will come into question. But I think that I think that that's something that the Lakers did do right. And then you have Jordan Clarkson. Wow, okay. Yeah, he's a combo guard, and the Lakers could use that. Nash, his health and his age, so Nash isn't really reliable. Meeks, I'm not sure if he's a free agent, check on that. But as a guy who's a combo guard and who supposedly was a first-round talent, they probably did a good job there, adding another guy. Nick Young is another 2 guard there. He could play a little 3 in a pinch too. So as another guy on the perimeter who could handle the ball, make things happen, then they probably did the right thing there. So I think the Lakers actually did a great job yesterday. Grizzlies. Jordan Adams with the 22nd pick. Yeah, I thought, and this column says the same thing, was that they should have taken Rodney Hood, and I was very perplexed as to why they didn't. The Memphis Grizzlies did not take Rodney Hood because he could have played the Rudy Gay role there. As obviously Rudy Gay, like there's the questions: does he really make a team better? Does he elevate the play of a team? Personally, well, it depends on the situation, but it's proven that he hasn't. But Rodney Hood, they need a perimeter scorer. They have Conley who can put you the 15-point a game guy, get his assist, plays great defense. You have the two big guys down low. You got the wing defenders. They need a score on the wing. They really missed out there. So I didn't think the Jordan Adams selection was. I didn't like that pick. Timberwolves. They took Zach LaVine and Glenn Robinson. Glenn Robinson, I don't know. I thought that was a good pick, but LaVine, supposedly there's already talk that he doesn't even want to play there. So yeah, that's not too good. And I guess it depends. It all depends really with the Wolves on Kevin Love. What happens with him? I mean, LaVine is a good player. Robinson as a second-round pick, I think, is a great pick. He's going to be a glorified role player for them. So I don't know. It depends. What happens. What happens with Kevin Love. But I mean, I guess they did okay. They kind of took two wing players, so I don't know. It's too hard to judge until Kevin Love comes back to see their role. The Pelicans took Russ Smith. I think that as a backup to Drew Holiday, that's not a terrible move. I mean, Russ Smith was a good ball player for the Louisville, so as a backup for Holiday, who I think is a very underrated player in his own right, and is a very good starting point guard. So as a guy who could provide energy off the bench, and who can score, okay. I mean that's a good move. Oklahoma City Thunder, Mitch McGary. I thought was actually I do like that pick a lot. A little bit of rebounding, a little bit of tenacity on the front line off the bench, because you have Ibaka, you have Perkins. That's the starters. You have Adams and Nick Collison, who's he's wearing down a little bit. And Steven Adams, they'd like a lot, I can tell. But you add another guy like that, McGary, he could be a very good contributor off that bench. I do like that move a lot. And then Josh Huestis. Okay, so he's a wing player. Based on this characterization, he's more of a defensive player. Defense is great, but they already have their defensive-minded guys. I think that bench, what they've been missing since Harden left, was scoring. I think they should have tried to get a scorer there. So I don't really know if that's the best pick. It's not going to hurt them. But does it help them? That I don't know. McGary, that helps them. So I give them a good rating for the McGary selection. Phoenix Suns. I think they did decent last night. With their picks. I mean, T.J. Warren. Yeah, he's a wing player who can score. So that's probably a good pick with Warren there. They could probably use another wing scorer. I think they should try to get another wing scorer in free agency. Tyler Ennis, I thought was confusing. They already have two good point guards, but I guess, say Bledsoe leaves, which supposedly he's most likely coming back. I guess that's a guy who can help out Dragic and play the Bledsoe role, I guess. Though he'd probably come off the bench, I'd say, unless you put Dragic at the 2, but I doubt that would happen. So I was a little confused at that pick, but maybe that's just a value pick. If I'm them, I'd try to trade it and get some good value back for it, because Ennis is a good player who could help a lot of teams. It is a point guard league. And Bogdan Bogdanovic, he's a guard. Oh, I think he's a stash player. I don't really know, to be honest, what impact that's going to have, because they already have their guards. So we'll see, and we'll see how how quickly he translates to the NBA and how quickly he comes over to the NBA from overseas. Nick Stauskas, Sacramento Kings. Yeah, I mean that's probably probably the best move. I mean, he's one of the better shooters, if not the best shooter available in the draft. So yeah, that's probably the right move at the 2 guard. They have DeMarcus Cousins. I don't know if Isaiah Thomas comes back. So yeah, they probably did the right choice. They probably took maybe the best guy available, best perimeter player available, best shooter. So I mean, they probably made a good move there. Spurs, defending champion. I mean, there's a reason they're the champs, right? I mean, I thought they did a great job getting Kyle Anderson. He's a great playmaker. He's a 6'8", I think closer to actually 6'9", forward. So I think they did the right thing there. I mean, at the end of the first round, last pick of the first round, getting Kyle Anderson at UCLA. I don't think he's the best athlete, but he's going to make plays. You have another guy, a glorified role player, coming off the bench, which they've been great with the glorified role players. I think that's great for them. I think that's a phenomenal selection. He might go in and make an impact off the bench. What they said last night, I think, was the Boris Diaw role, like that forward that can make he can facilitate, he can shoot a little bit, he can drive it a little bit, he can post a little bit. Perfect. I mean, that's an A+ selection. Jazz, I think they did actually a very good job. You get Exum, that's a running mate for Trey Burke. Now, I don't know, do they put him at the 2? I'd say they put him at the 2. Hey, that's 2 guys that can handle the ball, can create their own shot to a certain extent. We don't really know a lot about Exum. We do know he's a 6'6" point guard. He'll probably play the 2. So we don't know a whole lot about him as he's an overseas product. But you know what? They probably they probably did the right thing. They took a very talented guy. You pair him with Oladipo. You pair him with Burke. That's a very solid backcourt. And then you take Rodney Hood, who I like Rodney Hood. I thought he was a great sidekick player for Duke. He can really create his own shot. He can really score the ball. So I thought that Rodney Hood that could end up being a steal for Utah. So I don't know if Gordon Hayward comes back. Say he does, okay, Rodney Hood could be the 6th man. He can score. Hayward leaves, okay, you got a solid small forward who can score the ball. So I think they did very good in the draft. So that's my Western Conference reaction video. Give me your feedback, your thoughts, reactions to my reactions. So I thank you very much. Follow me on Twitter at TNS_YouTube, and I thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.